Would you like the Tennessee Titans to be trading for Brandon Aiyuk in the 2024 offseason? Well, let me know down in the comment section. Type T for trade, type P for pass, because that's the topic of today's show. I tell you why it would be good, why it would be dumb, and everything in between on why this is even a topic. But that's the show today. Let's get rolling on Titans Today. Appreciate you hanging out with us here. We are always glad to see you. I'm your host, Jay Sanders, and Brandon Aiyuk has been going through some drama with the San Francisco 49ers post-Super Bowl 58. We tell you all about that and how a trade could be in order for, well, the Titans being one of those teams. So without further ado, let's kind of get into what exactly is happening and why this is even being talked about. Because, well, Aiyuk, let's just say he's been active on social media over the past couple days, both in his own light and his friends and family, kind of talking about the Niners being frustrated with the way the Super Bowl went, how we only had 3 receptions, and just kind of all around what in the heck is happening. They were all frustrated. So here's kind of the lowdown of everything that happened. His brother / best friend, whatever, it was kind of like one of those of, hey, you're my brother. Either way, he said Aiyuk will play in Vegas due to his frustrations. His girlfriend then indicated his days with the Niners may be over. He's also entering his last year of his rookie deal with the 5th year. So there's a potential here that somebody could trade him. Now, obviously, the brother said that he wanted to play in Vegas due to his frustrations, which, got to be honest, makes no sense to me. That's a rebuilding team when you have Kyle Shanahan and the Niners right there. If he's going to get traded, I don't know why he'd want to go there in the first place. And you're wondering, well, what in the world? Obviously, we see this, but what was said? Well, good thing we have photo evidence here. So there's his brother just kind of tweeting out, or excuse me, putting on Instagram basically saying like, BA to Vegas. I mean, you see it right down there. All-pro 13,000-yard receiver, only 3 catches in the Super Bowl. Here's the reason why. They were facing Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed of the Kansas City Chiefs. Those 2 guys are probably the best quarterback duo in the National Football League. That's why he only got 3 catches, not because he wasn't in the game plan, not because Brock Purdy didn't want to get the ball to him. That's the way it was, but the frustrations continue to rise in San Francisco, and honestly, I can understand it. They've lost in the postseason a lot. Now, this is what Aiyuk's girlfriend said, saying, okay, this might have been the last day we touched foot on Levi Stadium, me and Brandon, their son, Braylon, because we might not be out there next season. This is why the floodgates have kind of opened, in my opinion. Trading for Aiyuk could happen to not only just the Titans, but a bunch of different teams. Honestly, at this point, because of this stipulation, people are starting to talk to him in the locker room, and he had a kind of nonchalant answer when he was asked about what was going on. He basically just kind of brushed it off, spoke quietly, said it like was nothing. It was a weird conversation, but either way, now that this has happened, trade talks have been flooding in for literally every single team who was in need of a wide receiver. What exactly would it cost, though? I think that's the problem where we sit here and look at, all right, how exactly are we going to work this out? And will the 49ers even want this? I asked the Niners host here, Chase, about what exactly Aiyuk would cost. Very quickly said, a first-round pick. So the Titans have one of those. It's the round 1, pick 7, though, which is a pretty high price, but this is what a potential trade would look like. The Titans get Brandon Aiyuk, and the Niners get the first-round pick from the Titans, number 7. I know this is kind of an interesting trade, so I ask you, Titans fans, would you accept this trade? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I'm curious to see what your initial reaction is to this. Aiyuk for a first-round pick. That's what it would cost. Y for yes, N for no. All right, coming up on Titans Today, I'm going to play both sides. I'm going to tell you exactly why it would make sense for Ran Carthon to try and make this trade, and a little bit of devil's advocate and say why it would kind of be a little dumb. We tell you both here coming up in just a second, but obviously free agency is about to start kicking up. We got the draft in just now a little over a month and a half. So guess what? Get you some Tennessee Titans gear because right now everything's going positively. Brian Callahan, the head coach, looking really smart. You got Denard Wilson as your defensive coordinator. I love that hire. Ran Carthon doing a lot of amazing things. So you want to be able to support your team any way possible. Guess what? 40% off this Tennessee Titans long sleeve shirt. It's pretty nice. Got the navy blue. I know we've showed you a couple of the baby blue ones. Well, guess what? Here's the navy blue. Got the Tennessee Titans across the top. Nice logo right in the center shirt. And it looks really comfy. It feels really comfy. Chatsports.com/TEN long sleeve. We'll add that link in the comments and the description. But again, 40% off. Go get the deal while it lasts because this is a pretty cool shirt. And honestly, I want to have some Titans gear when we come up to draft season. All right, let's start with why this could make sense. Basically, what you're doing in this situation is you're getting a proven wide receiver for your round 1 pick. In theory, it's drafting Malik Neighbors, but a guy who's already proven. The difference, you're going to have to extend Brandon Aiyuk almost right away. You do have the cap space for that, but is that something you're willing to do? Well, let's break it all down here based on Aiyuk stats, because this guy has been exceptional since he stepped foot on a football field in the NFL. 748 in his first year, 826 his second year, 1,000 plus, and then 2022, and then this year 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. Every single year, those yardages go up. His receptions went up every single year. Obviously, these past years have been neck and neck, and he had a 17.9 average per catch this year. Obviously, Deebo Samuel had some injury issues throughout the season, so Brandon Aiyuk stepped up. He was really the favorite target all year for Brock Purdy. But I go back to the point here. Given this, and it's his 5th-year option, he wants his money. He wants his bag, which is fair. I think he deserves it. But how exactly is that going to scrape up in terms of, will the Titans be willing to pay him? What is he wanting an extension? How much is he actually worth? Well, let's look at the highest paid wide receivers right now, because that's kind of in the area he's probably looking at. You see Tyreek Hill the most at $30 million, obviously staying there. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Stephon Diggs tied up at 5th. And then we start getting to around the range that I would see Brandon Aiyuk being. Deebo, Terry, DJ, and Keenan Allen. He's going to be worth around $20 million. Now, how much over $20 million? I don't know. Maybe it would be a little less, but for a 1,300-yard receiver who continues to prove himself year in and year out, you're going to have to pay him what he's worth. And we just showed that that was the highest paid wide receivers, right? So those are the best of the best. How does he stack up against them? Pretty well. Yards per catch, he was number 2 in the NFL. Yards per target, he was number 2 in the NFL. PFF wide receiver grade, number 2 in the NFL. EPA, number 2 in the NFL. Receiving yards, number 7 in the NFL. This guy was top 10, and he wasn't 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 in a lot of these. So you look at this and you think, okay, is Rand Carthen going to sit here and look and say, hey, we do trade away the first-round pick, but we do get a proven wide receiver back. Again, you do have to pay him. I asked this question, though. Let's just say hypothetical, forget the money, forget everything. How happy would you be if the Titans traded for Brandon Aiyuk in this situation? I want you to scale it, saying 1 being least happy, 10 being most happy. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to pin this comment. All right, let's play devil's advocate here, because I think it also needs to be talked about why it would be kind of stupid. You need to fix your offensive line. That's the first thing you need to do. And you can help that with the number 7 overall pick. You got Olu Fashanu. You got Joe Alt. And then you can just sign T. Higgins. That way you're only paying that one wide receiver. Because if you trade for Brandon Aiyuk, then you're going to have to pay him probably more than what T. Higgins would offer. From that point then, how exactly do you work out? Do you try and get T. Higgins? Do you try and keep going with the wide receiver trade? Well, in theory, there's a lot of ways you could do it, but you could get both of them. I mean, you have $80 million in cap space. You cut a couple players, you're closing in on $90 million, if not $100. That would not be a dent in the pocket to go sign T. Higgins and extend Brandon Aiyuk after you traded for him. You sign Brandon Aiyuk for $20 million a year and T. Higgins for $15 million a year. What's that? $35 million? Okay, cool. You still have over $50 million to spend in free agency over the next little bit. So I know that Brian Callahan wants playmakers. If you had to ask me, I don't see this happening just because of the extension, and on top of which, number 7 is a hefty load to give up for Brandon Aiyuk. I know he's good. I know he's proven. But in theory, you have a shot to get Malik Neighbors. If you want to help your offensive line, you have a shot to get Joe Alt. There's a lot of options you have at number 7. When you trade for Aiyuk, your options kind of dwindle, and it's all on him. Not to say that he's not worth that, but I think you have to be mindful of the situation that the Titans are in at this current time. We appreciate you watching. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on the Brandon Aiyuk situation and everything that's going on. So make sure you're getting in the comment section answering our questions. And again, go check out that long sleeve. 40% off. We'll have that link in the comments and the description of this video. But as for now, Titans fans, as always, tighten up and peace out.